What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Chaotic Minds. As always, it's Winged,
And the midget.
and we are
Trying to get back into it.
made a plan
And we stuck to it.
for the most part. It's a little bit
Hey.
later than what I would have wanted.
You made a plan, and nothing catastrophic happened to derail the plan.
At the moment. The sleep amount, or the amount I'm going to be able to sleep later is still up in the air.
You can still sleep a little
I
bit
wanted
later.
to start a little bit sooner, but anyways.
Breakfast.
Breakfast
Eating took priority.
Yes.
Sorry. Not sorry. Anyway.
I have two topics that I really want to talk about today.
Okay.
And if we have time, there might be a third one
Okay.
that you are going to provide on the fly.
Uh-oh. I do want to start with kind of something that made me laugh and almost spit Pepsi out my nose tonight.
Okay.
So I was sitting with one of our packed officers,
Okay.
and he was talking about, he was with a friend of his, and they were having in this in-depth conversation, and he got an email. He checked the email, and he had this weird look on his face. So his friend goes, "What's that about?" He goes, "Oh, I just got an email. I want a free Trump t-shirt." And I was like, where is he going with this? I'm thinking, where is he going with this? I was like, "Oh, right. I want a free Trump t-shirt." And the friend just looks at him and just has this dumbfounded look on his face and goes, "Okay." He goes, "Oh, man, I don't need it. I already have enough toilet paper." And for some odd reason, the way he said it, it just kind of like made my brain short circuit and start laughing. Because I wasn't sure if he was serious or if he was like just joking around. But it kind of broke up the monotony of tonight and the bullshit that happened and the fact that certain people don't know who the fuck certain people are and think that they have all the audacity in the world.
Yeah.
So yeah, I told told one of the supervisors tonight that I want to be a fly on the wall when that conversation happens because that's gonna be funny.
Sure.
I've had one of those nights, people. I'm glad I'm off today.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right. So the first thing I want to talk about.
Okay.
Do you know
The Muffin Man?
what a stan is?
Like acronym STAN or
So
what?
what I'm referring to is back in like the early 2000s, Eminem went ahead and released a song called Stan. And it was about a
Stalkers.
weirdly obsessive, stalkerish, possessive fan of the character that he uses, Eminem,
Mm-hmm.
versus Marshall Mathers, writing him a letter, and he was like, the lyrics for the song were Stan's letter to Eminem.
Yeah,
Multiple letters to Eminem.
Dan, it's like stalker and something else, and I don't remember.
Anyways,
Go on.
since then, the term has been used to identify or to categorize a lot of the more obsessive fans, right?
The crazies.
You have the Billie Eilish ones. You have some of the Swifties. Whatever Beyonce calls hers, like the Beehive. There's been stands that have actually showed up. Like I think it was
whose
Rice
house got broken into by that stalker fan?
There was Rice Scum, there was a fan who showed up at his door.
No, it was Taylor Swift that I'm talking about. That the guy got arrested, got out, and then did it again the same day. Yeah. Okay.
Philip DeFranco actually had somebody walk into his studio while he was recording.
Oh, I'd have shot him.
And then like the whole it can evolve down into like if the creator that the stan is a fan of is going up against another creator like in a game or whatnot, those fans will swat the other creator's house, like what happened with Dr. Disrespect.
Yeah, that.
Or the other one that happened. The other one that happened
is
with
fucking ridiculous, people. You're dumb.
the other one that happened with Dr. Disrespect is I believe he actually had his house shot at while he was streaming.
Yep.
It was him, his wife, and I think he has kids.
Yeah, I think he has 2 kids. They were playing in their room towards the back of the house.
Yeah.
Yep. Swatting is dumb. You're fucking stupid.
The reason why I bring it up is Taylor Swift, just because it's in the news, released a new album the other day.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's a controversial topic right there.
There's like 5 different like special editions, and each special edition has a different song and it has a different album cover and all that kind of stuff. But there was a review website that did an article on their review on the new Taylor Swift album. I think it's
pointing out all
Dead.
the racism.
Well, no,
all that shit.
There was no racism with it.
Oh, there's people talking about the racism and sexism.
You can
and all the
go
bullshit.
ahead and look into any song that you want to and be like, oh, there's racism right there.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, that's not what the lyrics are intending. But they went ahead and when they released the article, when they published it, right? They did not have the name of the person who wrote the article. Instead, what they did was they had the name of the organization or the group or whoever that they were writing for as the author of the article. Because the last time...
Yeah, putting your company name on something like that is really a smart idea.
Well, no, putting your personal name on something like that. And the reason why I say that, the last time that this company had went ahead and did a review on a Taylor Swift album, and it was the author's name was listed as I'm the author.
Okay.
They got death threats.
Yeah, and that's ridiculous.
Like
how are you going to be so much of a fan
over
that you're
Twitter,
yeah.
over or X, whatever you want to call it, emailed, comments.
There is no reason to threaten somebody's life because they had a different opinion about an album than you do.
And they gave the new album like the standard rating that they give all albums. You know, they are
went
very
through the songs.
They are very impartial.
Yeah.
They don't they didn't hype anything up. They're like, here's a basic breakdown of what I think about this album.
Yeah, which makes sense. It's what any review is, like Siskel and Ebert doing movie reviews.
So they went ahead and they didn't put the author's name on. Instead, they're like,
protection.
The company did this to protect their author.
Yep.
Well, some Swifties, some of these stans, have taken it upon themselves to find this person. And they swear that they have because there's screenshots of these stans who are going ahead and being like, I found the person, this is the person. And they're like, you know, you need to sleep with one eye open, or you need to sleep with a gun under your pillow. You know, better not check your mailbox. All that kind of stuff. And it's just like, holy shit.
Like, dude, get a fucking life. You don't need to threaten somebody's life because they have a different opinion than you. Seriously.
Here's the biggest thing for me.
I have decided what my subject is going to be. It just came to me.
So here's the thing. Like, there have always been super fans, right? Those people who an artist around, or
they go to all the
show
concerts.
I mean, look at one of the Jacques Z Whipper, right?
Mm-hmm.
He has one guy who's from Boston that goes to every Ren fair that Jack goes to, and he performs at. And the only thing that he yells when Jack goes ahead and opens it up to the audience is like, "Hey, what do you want to hear?" You just hear Slayer.
Yep.
Every single time.
Yep.
And he finally had enough, and he's like, "How far did you travel today?" He's like, and the guy responded, he's like, "Well, I got up at like 5, rode my motorcycle down here, and you know, for however many hours." He goes, "Are you driving back today?" He's like, "Well, I've been drinking." So I'm not sure yet. And Jack's like, no, you're staying here and not drinking, not riding your bike while you're drunk.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, super fans have always been around, even like
But even
from
when we
small to huge, doesn't fucking matter.
We are huge fans of Breaking Benjamin.
I'm a big fan of Breaking Bad.
We would love to be able to go travel and see shows outside of our area.
Another one that we're both really big fans of, I Prevail.
We would love to be able to travel to see them. But we wouldn't make death threats against somebody who disliked their album or disliked their music. Like, I've read reviews on I Prevail's True Power album, and some are giving rave reviews. Some are giving great reviews. There's a couple of them that are like, well, this is garbage. This isn't I Prevail anymore. They've sold out. Da-da-da-da, giving their opinion. And my only thing is, you know, thank you for having a different opinion than me. I'm glad that you feel comfortable enough to voice that opinion. That's my thought on it. Because it's like that old saying, an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. What does that leave? Bunch of toothless blind people. Like, seriously.
Where the one-eyed man is king.
And that's the thing. It's like you...
I mean, the same thing happened with Linkin Park.
Mm-hmm.
Because with Linkin Park, when they were coming out and they were like going through the different albums, and they were doing the different albums, and Mike Shinoda even talked about this.
Yep, I was watching the podcast. I was listening to the podcast where he was talking about it.
He's like, look, we're either ahead of the curve, where we'll make an album and it sounds different, and people are like, well, this isn't the Linkin Park that I'm used to. And then like 3 months later, everyone's making an album just like it, or has a similar sound to it. Or they go ahead and they make something that's like how they originally sounded, and everybody's like, well, this is the same old. I don't want to listen to it. It's like, there are times where it's like you can't win for losing.
Pick a side, dude.
Like, take the song Heavy, for example, right? Yeah. The first time I heard Heavy, I'm like, what in the fuck is this shit?
Yeah, it didn't sound like Linkin Park.
And then I listened to it multiple times, and I'm like, you know what? This song is dope as fuck.
Yeah.
I still can't listen to One More Light. I can't listen to One More Light.
And that's the thing, is like, you should expect artists and like music artists, actors, actresses, everybody to grow
and evolve
and evolve. Like Disney Channel stars, they're doing dramatic roles and like serious or serial killer roles or grown-up stuff.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal to see the change and the growth.
Boy Meets World. Mm-hmm. Now an adult film star.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is like, you know, to see the growth and the change and them coming into their own and stuff like that is great. You love to see that change. But no matter what you do, people are going to bitch. So just you do you.
And here's why I bring that whole thing up, is because superfans, like I tried saying a couple times, thanks, and thank myself because I interrupted myself, have been around for fucking ever. Like, you do something that's really impressive, people are going to be a fan of it.
They're going to talk about it.
Some who take that to the next level, and they're going to be like, best ever. Anybody says any different, I'm going to end them, right? Look what happened with, biggest example for that, Beatles.
Yep, Beatlemania.
And John Lennon.
Beatlemania.
Getting shot by a fan. You know.
Yep.
Then there was the assassination attempt on Ronald Reagan. The guy who tried to assassinate Ronald Reagan was trying to impress, I believe it was Sigourney Weaver.
Yep.
You know, I might be wrong with who it actually was, but he tried to impress an actress.
But
right?
But also, it's like when the attempt on I'm not 100% sure who it was. It might have been like Ariana Grande or something like that. Somebody in that genre, like pop star. Somebody attempted to end the life of one of them because they didn't answer their letter.
Yeah. The problem lies in you gotta draw a line. Like, I'm a fan of Breaking Benjamin, right? I'm a fan of I Prevail. I like Motionless in White.
But you would not.
Breaking Ben and Motionless in White, by the way, are from my home state of Pennsylvania.
But you would not, even if you had the address, the physical address of where they're at, you still have enough of a brain that even though you are a huge fan of Breaking Benjamin, you're not going to show up to Ben's house.
No. I mean, take a look at what happened when we ran into those two, the
two
Hall
Bronco
of Famer,
players.
The Hall of Famer, and at that point in time, the current Bronco player, when we went up the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
You were all like, oh my God, this, that, and the other thing.
Because I had met him before and he recognized me.
What was my response?
Hey, what's up?
What's up?
At
the end of the day, there's still a fucking person.
Yeah, and you don't need to, like I said, even if you had Ben's physical address of where he was living at, you still wouldn't have the balls to just be like, show up at his house, say, I'm a huge fan, can I get, those people that'll stalk these people and just for an autograph. Dude,
No.
I'm telling you, if you are respectful and you treat them like a human being, you don't even have to ask for an autograph. And 90% of the time, hey, you want me to sign something?
Yeah.
It's like,
I mean, look what happens with Critical Role.
remember the Bronco player that I had come through my drive-thru when I was working for Taco Bell?
I don't remember that because I wasn't here.
But yeah, it's like,
I mean, you straight up went ahead and shut down a lobby for when you were working at Taco Bell.
for
when
Hollywood
Undead, when they came
because
through.
people wouldn't leave them alone. They couldn't have a normal dinner and a normal conversation. So I called my manager, which at that time happened to be my mother, and I called the district manager and said, hey, this is a situation. I'm closing the lobby so these people can eat in peace.
Yeah.
Because it just got to be too much.
Just like Jacoby, right?
Yep.
From Papa Roach.
Yep.
Goes ahead and he'll get letters from fans, and some of them are like, you and your band have saved my life. Like there was one that,
and he loves to respond to those.
There was one where this guy, ex-military or former military, had PTSD, was going through a rough spot, ended up becoming a cop, and was about to eat the barrel of his service pistol, and he went to Papa Roach.
He got invited to a Papa Roach
Shinedown concert.
Yep.
And saved his life. And Jacoby actually went ahead and called him, was like, this hit me.
Mm-hmm.
If Ben was to do something like that, if anybody from I Prevail or Motionless, or if Mike Shinoda would do that for me, I would be like, holy crap, this is cool. But I wouldn't be like, oh my God, oh my God.
I still,
there's still fucking people.
I get a message every once in a while from Chris. Hey, haven't seen you at any of, I didn't see you at the concert, yada, yada, yada. Are you guys doing okay? Yeah. Just didn't have the time off.
For those who don't know, the Chris who she's referring to is the husband of the lead singer of a band called Lola Black, which is a local band around here that you're a huge fan of. Mm-hmm. We've met them.
Oh yeah,
I still had a conversation with them.
We
shared
pictures.
A drink with them.
Yep, I still have pictures of Lola and I when she pulled me towards the stage and
Lola tried to kidnap you and stick her in her pocket.
Yeah. She's I swear to God, she's 5'10", 5'11", and when she wears heels, it's like, hello.
Hi. But no,
and I still wouldn't show. I know exactly where they live because I've been to their house, and I still wouldn't show up unannounced.
Ivan Moody from Five Finger, if he was to be like, yo, what up? I'd be like, hey, dig the tattoos.
It's like Willie B.
Yeah. Well, we've met Willie B a bunch.
I know
Willie
B.
General area of where he lives at.
Oh, I know
Willie B, for those who don't know, is a radio host out here who is huge.
Also huge on TV.
He's big on TV. He was on it was like a K1 channel show.
Yep.
And that he was the host of that. He is huge on giving back to the community. Every year he does Cars for Christmas.
He's also a announcer for the professional lacrosse team here, Colorado Mammoth in Colorado.
Yep. And he is a fantastic mechanic. He works on all of his cars. The Cars for Christmas, he
he's
does,
a great human being.
He buys a bunch of broke down cars, fixes them,
donated them.
and gives them to people who need vehicles.
Yeah.
You know, we know where he is, where he's at. We're big fans of Willie B. I'm not just gonna show up to his fucking house and be like, "Hey, Willie," that's just fucking weird.
I even offered, hey, if you guys need extra person, granted I'm not a mechanic, I was like, if y'all need an extra person to help out, getting into the smaller spaces and stuff, let me know. I will be there in an instant. Like, I would do anything to help that man get more cars up and running.
Yeah. But it's when you take it that extra step where you're like, I'm going to kill
them
someone
in their personal life.
for this person. I'm going to threaten someone because I love this person.
You're going to threaten that person because you care about them so much.
There's a line that needs to be drawn. I mean, there was a bunch of stuff that was happening back in like the 90s with Michael Jackson and his kids. That's why, Blanket has the nickname that he Blanket.
Because he was covered all the time because his dad didn't want their personal lives being invaded. He kept his kids out of the limelight
on
as
purpose.
long as he could.
But like, just for
even
fuck's
Sandra
sake,
Bullock, she doesn't bring her kid out.
For fuck's sake, leave these people alone. Draw a line. Are they good people? Who the fuck knows? If you think they're a good person and you really like what they do, cool. Buy the album, buy the merch, support them that way.
Make a comment on their page saying, hey, this was great. This is how this made me feel, yada, yada, yada. You're cool.
Do
Leave it
not issue death threats.
To anybody.
Or plan violence on a celebrity or somebody who you are a fan of's behalf because somebody said something that you don't approve of.
Oh my God, getting offended on somebody else's behalf.
Yeah.
That's exactly what the fuck it is.
It's like, how else are these people supposed to grow? Like,
how are these people supposed to have a normal life?
If the only thing you're ever hearing is you're doing great, good job, you're doing great, good job. How can you get better at your craft?
Yeah.
You can't. You have to have somebody who is that, that person whispering, "Hey, you're just human," in the back of your head, and pointing out,
this one wasn't your best work.
Yeah, this could have been better. You could have did this lyric differently. This melody could have been better.
This is how what I would have phrased.
You could have made that catch. You could have pushed a little bit further down the field. Insert whatever.
Yeah.
And that's how they grow. That's gives them the drive to do better.
Exactly.
If you're only being like, "Good job, guys. Good job, guys."
That's like my strive to learn something new every day.
Yeah. I mean, if you're not learning something new, you're doing something wrong. And you're not growing as an individual.
Yep.
Just
it's like making mistakes. You're going to make a mistake at some point. Don't dwell on it. Don't beat yourself up about it. People are going to have different opinions of you. Like, there are people around like me or you that absolutely love us, love what we do, think that even when I have an attitude and I'm
which is every day,
being a little hard on somebody, that I'm still doing what I need to keep people safe. And then there are others who say, oh, you don't need to be speaking to them because that's not your job. Like,
okay, I won't talk to them. You get to deal with them at their full crazy.
Yep.
I act as a buffer.
Yep.
I take a lot of the heat, so that way you don't have to.
Like the guy tonight. He swore up and down that I was his wife. But obviously I'm not.
You're mine.
And I didn't take that to heart because I know he has issues.
But it's just like, for fuck's sake, leave these people alone. Like, just be a fan. You can be a super fan. You can own all of their merch, all of their stuff.
Be a normal person.
Do not attempt to own their skin. You fucking weirdo.
Just leave them alone. Let them be people. Let them be normal people. Let them have a personal life outside of everybody staring and being up their ass.
We are not made to be in a fishbowl.
Seriously.
Anyways, So
Anyway,
is that.
rant over.
My second topic actually kind of ties into the first one.
Adjacent.
Ish. Because, with people being like, watch what you say, stop the threats and stuff, right? Well, I'm allowed to say what I want to certain people, because this, that, and the other thing is freedom of speech. More importantly, the First Amendment. There has been a huge push over the last couple of years about First Amendment rights, and I have a right to say what I want, and I have the right to, we have the right to...
But get pissed off when we call them out.
Hang on. We have the right to peacefully protest, and, this, that, and the other thing, right? The reason why I bring it up. There was a protest that happened at a college down in Texas. I'm not going to get into it any further than that because that's going to open up a whole different can of worms that I do not want to get into. But what ended up happening is the president of the campus, the president of the college, went ahead and got a hold of local police and had them join with the campus security to squash these protests, right? And it happened on the campus and all that. And the reason why is because, well, they could have violence and da-da-da-da-da. You do realize walking into a mall with people just shopping, you can have violence there, right? Anyways. But a lot of these people were saying, like, this is getting rid of our First Amendment right of freedom of speech and of freedom to gather. And
right to have a peaceful protest is one thing.
Here's my thing, okay? I will agree. You have the right to say whatever you want, right? You have the right to join up with whoever you want and march down the street, right? If you break the law, you're an asshole. And if you're impeding traffic, you're an asshole. You should be arrested.
Impeding traffic is illegal. That is not covered by your peaceful protest gathering.
Peaceful protesting is doing something, protesting in a peaceful manner that is not breaking laws. The second you start breaking laws, it is no longer. It can't be.
It's not considered a peaceful protest.
Considered a peaceful protest. You can sit there and be like, well, we didn't use any violence and yada yada. You are correct. You did not. However, how many laws did you break between now and then? How many laws?
Exactly.
Like, people will sit there and say, and rightfully say, that the protests that happened with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., right?
Yep.
Those were peaceful protests to an extent.
When things started becoming violent and they started breaking laws, however,
that is where it changed.
Exactly.
Over COVID, or like right before or after COVID, I can't remember exactly, but the whole Black Lives Matters, protests, those were mostly peaceful until somebody decided that they were going to be dumb.
And one or two, like a small group of people becoming violent does not mean the entire protest is violent.
No.
Does not mean that the entire protest needs to be shut down. Those people need to be taken out of the situation so that more people don't become violent.
That being said, do they have the right to say what they are going to in their protest? Sure, it comes with the freedom of speech, right? Everyone has the right to say things.
Everyone is afforded the freedoms in the United States.
However, just because you have a freedom to say whatever you want does not mean you have the freedom from the consequences of saying whatever you want. You can say, this person's an idiot, this person is an idiot, this person is an idiot. And two of the three are going to be like, you know what, yeah, you're right. That third person's going to be like, fuck you, and try to deck you. Does that make them right? No. Does that make you right? No. Everyone's an asshole in that scenario. I'm blunt.
Yep. as a sledgehammer.
When I say something and it offends someone, I'll be the first one to say, I'm sorry to hear that. And I'll have a conversation with them, or attempt to have a conversation with them about what led me to my decision on what I said. If somebody wants to fight me about it,
having a conversation with somebody for voicing their opinion is great, even if you don't agree on the subject. You can have differing opinions and still be respectful.
If you want to fight me on it, then you can try to fight me on it. Just because I said it and I have the freedom to say it doesn't mean that I don't have a freedom from the consequence of what I said.
People are not going to like, if somebody doesn't like your opinion and swings at you, that's a consequence of your action. You said something that they didn't like.
In a certain way.
Exactly. You said something that they didn't like. They felt that that was the only solution. They swung at you. Okay. Does that mean that you need to start beating the shit out of everybody that has a different opinion of you? No, it does not. You, granted, need to find a different way to show your criticism of their opinions, but don't be a dick. I say it every week.
Yeah.
Don't be a dick.
But the reason, one of the main reasons why I brought it up is because a lot of these people were like, well, we have the freedom of speech to do this, right? And the president of the campus was like, while you're on campus, you don't have, like, some of the rights that you have outside of here are controlled and constricted. And that's how it was like when I was growing up in high school. Like we'd sit there and, people would bring in some stupid stuff and they would bring in like knives or guns or whatnot. Or they would try to bring in like some sort of weapon or drugs, whatever. And they'd be like, the faculty and the staff would sit there and be like, look, you need to run your pockets, you need to empty your backpack and all that. And these kids were like, well, I have a right to privacy. You can't make me do this. Unfortunately, when you step foot onto a institution like a school, you have to abide by their rules. Just like you step foot onto a hospital or onto the grounds of a hospital, you have to abide by the rules of the hospital or you're going to get tossed. Like, there's been plenty of people who have come up to the hospital that we work at and they're sitting there smoking, or we get some people who come in and they have alcohol on them. This stuff is not allowed on the campus. Like, you can have a pack of cigarettes in your car, that's fine. But the campus that we work at is a non-smoking campus, just like a lot of different other hospitals. You can't be actively smoking a cigarette on the campus. Just like you can't sit there and smoke marijuana on the campus, because while, yes, here in Colorado, marijuana is legalized. You can smoke it, provided you're safe about it, and you're not, like, trying to drive while you're smoking. Here in, because the campus that we work at is owned on a national level, and nationally marijuana hasn't been legalized, you can't sit there and be like, oh, I can smoke this here, because then the hospital can lose its funding.
And actually, the thing is the reason why it's not allowed on any hospital property isn't even because of the law or whatever. It is because Medicaid and Medicare will stop funding if you allow smoking on your campus.
But it just rounds back to, once you step foot onto an institution, whether it's a hospital, a high school, a college, some form of like governmental building, the
privately owned grocery store,
the rights that you swear up and down you have out on the street sometimes get constricted. They're not gone. You just don't have free access to all of them, or to all of it.
It's one of those things. It's a private colleges, grocery stores, all that are privately owned companies. If a restaurant says, no, you cannot smoke, we do not have a smoking section, you can't smoke inside the restaurant, that is their rule. Like, there are some mom and pop restaurants that you can still smoke in. They still have smoking sections, like Littleton Cafe.
Yep.
They have a separate smoking section. And, like, that still doesn't change the fact that
You can't walk into an IHOP and be like, oh, I'm going to smoke.
Yeah. It's the whole thing of they also have the right to refuse service to anyone for any reason.
Yeah. But the point that I'm trying to make is, are these college students, do they have a point? Yes. They have the right to go ahead and peacefully protest. They have a right to have their voices heard. But once you're paying someone for a service, you can't just say whatever you want and then be free of the consequences. Do I think these people should say something and continue on with their protests? That's a topic I'm not going to get into because I have opinions.
It is up to them. They have the right to peacefully protest.
You know what? If it doesn't bother me, if it doesn't affect me, I don't care. Like, do I care about...
We're not going to get offended on somebody else's behalf.
No. If they're going to get offended, they're going to get offended. I don't give a shit. Be offended. That is your right. It is your right to think.
I'm offended that you're offended.
I'm offended that you're offended that I'm offended that you're offended.
Exactly.
And that's what it boils down to. It goes into a back and forth kind of bullshit, and then nobody talks. Nobody is willing to listen.
How about instead of protesting, you sit down with somebody and have a conversation? Just an idea.
But, I mean, well, some of these people you can't just sit down and have a conversation with. The protest that happened in Texas, the one I'm referring to at that college campus, is about an issue that's currently ongoing across the ocean.
Yeah. It's one of those things where regardless, you still should be like, hey, you know, this is what our... Even if you sit down with a professor and say, hey, this is what we want to do. What do you think would be the best way to go around and peacefully protest to get our point across?
If they would have just, like, done it on the lawn...
And not been a dick about it?
Well, here's the problem. The protest that they did was mostly focused on non-roads, like parks, the grounds of the campus. Not blocking traffic for the most part.
Were they being disruptive to students, though?
They encouraged students to walk out of their classes and join them at a certain time in a certain place in a centralized place for this protest.
Then that
to
me is fine. If you're not, what I mean by being disruptive to the learning process is walking around close to like the windows of a classroom or whatever and being like, shouting off whatever babble you're shouting off. That's what I mean by being disruptive to a class, to the learning process.
I mean, walking out, like if there's some people who are in a class and they don't walk out with the other students, one, they're going to be targeted because, oh, you support this or you think differently, or two, their day is getting disrupted because now any work that may have been needed to be done in a group project or whatever, it can't be done. And the professor stops teaching for however long, and, you know, this, that, and the other thing, and God forbid any of the professors join in, then those people who may not have wanted to join the walkout.
There professors that join in to support a cause that they believe in is fantastic. But the thing is like you said, your freedom of speech does not bypass the freedom from the consequences, you know. Yeah. It's like these teachers are going to support their students, to support the community and support the idea that they believe in, but that doesn't save their job.
No.
I know. Trust me, I get it.
We just need to stop tossing around, I have the right to do this, I have the right to do that. I have a right to a phone call. No, the fuck you don't. Guess what? TV shows lie to you. You don't have the right to a phone call when you're in prison. Sorry. I have a right
You have a right to one phone call during the duration that you are there. They do not say when.
That is dependent upon
Behavior.
your behavior
Mm-hmm.
and the jail. It is not a guaranteed thing. They don't have to give you shit. But no, it's just be respectful. Like, everyone is going through their own set of problems. Some people more than others. We'll fully admit to that. And, I will acquiesce that point. That doesn't mean that your struggle is any less than their struggle. It doesn't mean that your struggle is any more than their struggle. Everyone's going through some shit. Be respectful. Like, just because you have an opinion doesn't mean it needs to come out. My mom tried teaching me that when I was younger. Not everything that comes into your head needs to come out of your mouth. I am still learning that and trying to put that into practice. But just be respectful, guys. Seriously. If you're going to protest and join a protest, don't be stupid. Stupid. Do it peacefully. Don't break a law. And if you get told that y'all need to leave, fucking leave. If y'all get told that, you need to get down, put your hands behind your head and all that because somebody did something stupid and now people are getting arrested, don't fucking fight with them. Just fucking do it. Then you don't have any problems. If you can prove that you aren't a part of the problem, guess what? You don't have anymore. A problem. Do it peacefully. Don't cause problems. Don't cause issues. Don't be dumb. Okay? Go ahead and put your hands together and, clap while you're going down the street on the sidewalk. Or, you are able to get like a section of road closed off legally to go ahead and do this protest. You do you, boo-boo. Don't do it illegally. Because then anything that you say after you break a law
is now
invalidated by the fact that you were willing to break the law. Anyways. Okay, your turn.
So
I need to
the one that kind of
get some sippies
that popped into my head while we were talking, and it's something I talked with our supervisor with last night because I came across something on TikTok about it, and it just like kind of opens your eyes to the fact that this stuff is going on, and it's kind of ridiculous. So what I'm talking about is men and women who are rejected, whether it be from a date or sexual.
It's not me, it's you.
No, sexual. No, it's one of those things where, like, say I wanted to have sex with you and I approached you, said, hey, we should have sex. You tell me no, you're not interested in me in that way, or I ask you to prom and you say no, I've already got a date, or whatever the case may be, you are being rejected.
We would have to go back in time.
But
for the prom thing.
It's like,
and for the first thing.
People that are being rejected are like, they told me no, and they're committing murder.
Seriously?
Like I'm not even kidding. This one is just a list of women that were killed because they rejected the man that eventually ended up murdering them.
Okay.
And Tiara, she was 22 years old. She was a college student. She was shot in the face at point blank range by a man who rejected her after he began dancing on her during an annual festival. She said no to his advances, and he shot her point blank in the face and killed her. What the fuck?
I don't mean to laugh, but that's just fucking ridiculous. Like, there are people who, like, you see it on like Reddit. They're called this. or there's shitloads of memes out there, but they're called I'm a nice guy, or I'm a
Yep.
nice girl, where I did something nice for this person. I paid for their dinner, or I got them this thing, and they owe me sex.
Yeah.
I will fully admit, when I was younger, for like a couple of months, I was that way with one girl that I was interested in.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, I did not assault said person when they said no.
Or kill her, obviously.
Yeah. I was still hurt, and I'm like, what the fuck? And never did anything for her again. Didn't really talk to her anymore after that either. But as I've gotten older, I've realized that was dumb.
And see,
I was an asshole.
And I mean, and there was a story about a girl who was at a club and she was dancing, and she had asked this guy if he'd like to go back to her hotel room. He said no, so she followed him and ran him over with her car. I mean, and there was like this another one that I brought up to our supervisor last night. Go ahead, you look like you're going to say something.
Well, the only one I've ever seen is, like, I saw a TikTok or a video on like YouTube Shorts or something. I saw a clip where this girl was like grinding up on this dude, and he's like, no, and starts to back away, and his girlfriend is coming up from the side, and this girl who was trying to dance up on him just tosses her full drink into this dude's face.
Yeah.
And the dude's girlfriend just comes up, oh hell no, and just one shot, one punch man, knocks his bitch out, and it's just like, damn.
It's
like that's as far as I've seen it. I've not heard like people getting run over or committing murder.
Yep, and I mean, there was another one, a high school student. He had asked a girl to prom because he really liked her. He's known her for years. She told him, I have a date already. Somebody already asked me and I accepted. And he shot her. The night of prom, he rolled up to her house, got out of his car, shot her.
That's just why.
And I mean, there's another one that I was talking to our supervisor, Carol, about last night. That this girl was eating lunch at a restaurant with her best friend. And her best friend has a kid and she has a kid. Kind of like a little play date thing. The kids were sitting in a little playpen that they had set up because they ate out on the patio and everything. And the thing that kills me the most, these kids were maybe like 15, 16 months old.
Okay.
On a blanket with a little play yard, in a little play yard, whatnot. They got done eating. The ladies kind of split apart. One went to her car. The other one lived just a couple blocks down the road, had the stroller with the kid in it. Dude approached her just outside the park, which she had to go through to get back to her house. And he was like, you're beautiful, your baby's beautiful, you should give me your number. And she's like, I'm married, please don't approach my child. Dude pulled out a butcher knife and stabbed the child 22 times.
Damn.
Sorry, it just kills me, baffles me. And stood there, and this mother had to witness her child being stabbed repeatedly. And she tried to intervene, and what did she get? She got stabbed. And then the dude went back to the kid.
Yeah.
Kid died.
Well, yeah, I mean, getting stabbed 22 times.
The mom survived. And it's like, why?
Well, it's not even just dates
What
either.
kind of sense is bullshit?
It's not even like, hey, give me your number. Hey, girl, give me your number. Hey, guy, give me your number. I mean, you almost got fucking jumped by somebody because you wouldn't give them a cigarette.
Yeah. And because I started speaking Spanish, or there's so many different things, and it's just like,
well, and
ew.
the biggest thing that kind of irritates me is the focus, because there's a lot there are guys, that's why it's called a nice guy. There's a lot of guys that do it. There are an equal amount of females that do it too. But yet, I'm not trying to make this into a sexist thing. Like,
there's a lot more women that reject a male just because they don't like what they look like or whatever.
Oh,
but
I saw.
It's just like,
so speaking of that, there was this one clip that I saw. It was like a bunch of guys. They had balloons, and this girl, it's like, hey, it's kind of like what was that old show where it's like you have to pick someone that you're gonna date, right?
Yeah.
And the girl's like, well, this guy and this guy are no's because look at how they're dressed and all that. And the guy, and so she's like, I would pop their balloons. And so the host, the guy who was putting on the show, takes a look at all the guys, and he's like, oh, do you think any of you guys would date her? And simultaneously, all of these guys all pop their balloons. Every single one of them pop their own balloons. And they're like, none of us would date this chick because of how superficial she is.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it can happen to men or women, but that doesn't give you the right to murder them because they tell you no.
It doesn't. What it boils down to is, I'm entitled to you. No, the fuck you ain't.
I'm not a piece of property. Like this one, Nova Henry. She was a 24-year-old mom murdered by her former lawyer. The man fatally shot her along with her 10-month-old daughter after she relieved him as her lawyer, so basically fired him as the lawyer and took out a restraining order against him for threatening her.
Yeah.
He killed her and her 10-month-old child.
And dude was a lawyer.
Yep.
Like, the consequences of your actions when you do that shit.
Yep.
Like, you don't even have to do it. You can just, like, plan it. And guess what? You're still going to get in a shitload of trouble.
Yep. And that's the thing. It's like, this is ridiculous.
It once again, it boils down to that whole, I'm entitled to this mindset. Like, going back to the stands thing. I'm entitled to do this because I'm their fan. I'm entitled to getting this person's number because I complimented them. You ain't entitled to jack diddly fuck all. The only thing you're entitled to is inhaling and exhaling.
The only guarantees in life are death and taxes.
I saw this one thing, like a list of like witty comebacks to people, and there was one that was like, there is a tree that is desperately trying to make the oxygen that you waste. I'm just like, damn. But that's what it comes down to, is these people feel entitled to do whatever they want, to say whatever they want, and to get whatever they want. And when they get told no, their fragile little minds can't comprehend it. So what do? They go off of their instincts, and the first thing that the instinct says is, well, if I can't have it, nobody else can.
And I mean, I'm gonna, while we're kind of sitting here talking about it, and while you kind of give your opinion on stuff, I'm actually going to look up the TikTok so that I can read the little snippets of each person.
Well, we don't need to do.
I want to do that because it's like stuck in my brain. So you can continue talking about this while I look at it real quick.
I've already said my piece to it, which is the thing. Like, my piece is that, like I've said, it's them being entitled. They feel like they deserve this because insert whatever. I bought you a drink. I paid you a compliment. I paid for your meal. I saved you from, whatever. And they can make up whatever scenario that's in their head that they want. It doesn't mean that you automatically get it. It's like, you see it a lot in like fantasy movies or in manga or whatever, the White Knight. I've come in to save everyone. I have the sword of heroes or whatever, you know. So I am the hero, and everyone needs to do what I say because I'm the hero. But at the end of the day, you don't. There's a lot of people who are like, well, I'm a defender of women, or I'm a defender of this group of marginalized people, or yada yada yada. They didn't ask you to do that. You're taking it upon yourself. You are not owed anything. Like there's somebody who I used to kind of enjoy watching on YouTube, who had an issue with the group that he was with, and I'm not gonna mention him by name because he's a fucking piece of shit. But he was like, well, I have all this proof that the people in this former group I was in, are pieces of shit, and they're sexualizing and dehumanizing and women and all that. And he got called out on it. He's like, well, the people are like, okay, show us the proof. Well, I got to put it together, and blah, 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 blah. And nothing has come the fuck out. Nothing.
Yeah.
You're not owed anything. You're not owed praise. You're not owed a phone number. You're not owed a date. You're not owed anything for being nice, for being kind. Do it for kindness' sake. Do it for niceness' sake. Don't sit there and do something expecting to go ahead and get something out of it. That's not how this works.
It's not how any of life works, but people still have that assumption, and it's just like, really? Why?
Because that's what they're used to. Mommy and Daddy didn't spank them when they were younger. Mommy and Daddy never told them no. It's like, fuck, dude. Get used to being told no. It is the most powerful, shortest fucking word in the English language, in any language. No. Yeah, you want to go on a date with me? No. Why not?
Normalize rejection, because there's always going to be somebody that you're not their cup of tea. That doesn't mean you can be a dick about it.
There are plenty of people in this world that I am not their cup of tea. I just so happen to find the one that I am.
Yep. Except for you're my kind of coffee.
Sure.
Because I don't drink a whole lot of tea.
I don't drink a whole lot of coffee.
And that's what makes us awesome.
I prefer tea.
Because I don't have to worry about you stealing my coffee.
No, I mean, every once in a while I'll have a cup, but for the most part, give me some good tea. Like, give me a nice, cinnamon apple tea, or, if my throat's all fucky, give me some, mint medley or some throat coat, and I'm good to go. You, on the other hand, coffee. You're like, my dad had this. Fucking mainlining coffee. Not really. That was a joke. But, there are some people who just...
My blood type is caffeine.
There are just some people who don't like you because they just don't like you. They don't have a reason. They look at your face, they're like, I don't like your face. What don't you like about my face? The fact that it's attached to your body. There are some people who are like that. Get used to it. You can't please everyone. And if you go around trying to please everyone, you are going to send yourself into a realm of psychosis where you become one of these people. Oh, you don't like me? I'm going to kill you. Then you can like me in death. What?
Yeah, I can't find it. I'm too lazy. But no, it's like, I just cannot believe that in 2024 we are talking about you don't have the right to reject me, or I deserve to have a chance. And it's like, what?
No.
Why does that make sense?
It doesn't. What do you deserve? You deserve to get pushed down a flight of stairs.
And that's the thing.
Twice.
It's like, and it's all ages. Like, there was one that was a 47-year-old man. There's one that was a 54-year-old woman that got rejected, so she stabbed the guy. There's teenagers, 14, 15, 16-year-old, ruining their life because they murdered somebody because they were rejected. This is what happens when you don't tell your children no.
Yep.
Like, I cannot believe that people in 2024 we're still talking about the same bullshit. Oh, you hurt my feelings, so I'm going to kill you. You rejected me, so I'm going to kill you. You don't like the same things I do, or you have a different political opinion, so I'm going to destroy your stuff or kill you. Like, why the fuck are we talking about the same bullshit, the same racism, the same sexism, the same pay discrepancies, whatever the case may be? Why are we still talking about it in 2024?
I can answer that question.
Good God.
To quote a great man who passed away a few years ago, time is a circle.
Yep.
And to quote somebody from even further back than that, if we do not learn from history, we are bound to repeat it. That's what we're doing right now.
Yep. And that's the problem. It's just like I can't.
We have not learned.
No.
We went ahead and put a stop to it. What do we learn from it? How can we prevent it? We just stopped it at that point in time. We put a Band-Aid on a wound. Ain't gonna do shit.
Yep.
We put a Band-Aid on an infection. But until you get that infection out, it's going to fester.
And spread.
Yep.
Anyway.
I think that's a good place to stop. Sorry for the kind of downer ending there.
Sorry for the bunny trails. Not sorry,
But, it's our I wanted this to be more of a conversation piece, and we kind of, at the end there, kind of turned it into something dark. Sorry. But anyways, thank y'all so much for listening. We really do appreciate it. If you are listening to us on Spotify and you want to show Spotify that you like what you're hearing and you want to show support that way, hit the download button.
You don't have to.
And let Spotify know, hey, we like what we're hearing. We want to hear more of these crazy people. And they let us know, and we can create more. If you would
it's like that good circle of life.
Yeah. If you would like to donate to the show, there is a link in the description. You don't have to. It is not mandatory. Just it is helpful. Anything that we get coming in, we put right back into the show to make it better for us and ultimately for y'all. But once again, you don't have to. It's all good.
We just like the company.
If you want to get more updates or if you want to toss your opinion on some things, you can follow us on Blue Sky. Just look up Chaotic Minds. We're right there. You can click on the link in the profile. That'll bring you to that. But as always, thank y'all so much for listening. We really do appreciate it. Don't forget to love each other. And as always,
don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick.
Bye.
Goodbye.